Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. We're back with Rememento White Shadow. Today I have another level 80 character guide. In this case is for Beatrice. We already saw the actual and real and better water DPS in the game, which is Sasha, and now I want to show you guys the second option that you can use if you want, right? I would say, and I have to say, Beatrice is not been actually really good DPS when it comes to killing PvE enemies. I would say that she works and she deals, she does a lot of damage. She's actually an AoE character as well, which is really good. And she can also auto the dragon. I was autoing the dragon before with my um, Beatrice until I saw the light and discovered the true and only DPS Sasha, right? But before that, I was using my Beatrice and it was good. And I just want to showcase this character is mostly used for defense on PvP. You just go really tanky with her instead of bringing attack 10s. You would go with like HP 10s, and all the idea is just to survive and being able to attack the enemy back, and you will win right away because you would do such an insane amount of damage that you are guaranteed to win. In any case, let's go ahead and showcase the character. This is 1428 attack, 152 speed, 84% crit rate, 182% crit damage, some effect accuracy that is worthless in this case, and affinity is max, which means that I have an extra 50 attack, 50 defense, and 500 HP. On Beatrice in particular, it's really important to go max affinity because you definitely want every single amount of stats that you can get so that you can survive the damage from the enemy. You definitely want these characters to have some extra defense. You definitely want this character to have some extra HP on the rolls. And yeah, you don't really want to have a lot of attack. All you want is just some crit rate and good amount of crit damage. And since you are going to be ignoring damage when you're ignoring armor when you attack the enemy, you don't really have to worry that much about attack. But my Beatrice is built just for PvE. That's the way that she was built. And then now the set of gear that she's using right now is the one that I'm currently using on my Sasha. She's the one that is constantly using that set. So it's going to be a speed set with crit rate set, and it's going to be crit damage, attack, and attack. That's the combination I'm using. For weapon, I'm using the weapon for Isania, but I wouldn't recommend using this weapon if you're going to be going for defense, using her own weapon, or if you don't have her weapon, you can go with Ivy weapon, right? Which increases your attack and your crit damage by 7.5%, so it's really good. And not only that, sorry, I forgot, this weapon makes it so that you do more damage depending on how low are you on HP. If I'm not wrong, this weapon should be that it gives you the maximum amount of damage, which is 25% extra damage, if you are at 70% HP. Why? Because that's the HP that you will be left with Ivy, because she has that specific passive that doesn't allow her to go lower than 80% or 70% HP, something like that. So I'm pretty sure that that's the reason. That's going to be the cap for that weapon to give you the maximum amount of attack or maximum amount of kill damage. I'm sorry. When it comes to dupes, I'm using ultimate plus second skill, but I wouldn't really recommend going with second skill. I would recommend ultimate plus passive, especially if you're going for PvP, because the whole idea is that on PvP, Libertas is going to use her shenanigans on all of your characters. If they use any other debuff whatsoever on and you or your enemy or your other allies, you would get an additional increased damage, right? So the more damage you can get from this, the better, because again, you're sacrificing some attack damage to go for defense so that you can survive and then one-shot your enemy afterward. So my recommendation is going for ultimate passive. Then you can go for probably first skill, because most of the times you don't want to use this skill because this skill would heal you. So I actually made a mistake by using this. So you most of the time want to use first skill so that you can increase your attack on your own, and then you can use your ultimate to deal more damage. So when it comes to skills, first skill is 100%, 130% attack, and it will grind you attack that lasts for the turn in which you use the skill and the next turn after that. So it's really good. Second skill is AoE damage, 191% attack to all enemies, and recovers 20% of your the damage that you do. So it's really good for you to go back to full HP, and it would allow you to kinda play the character without healers, but that's actually not possible because enemies would deal way too much damage, and your other characters would die. So yeah, definitely not the best thing to do. And ultimate skill is 232% of attack as damage to all enemies, and it can ignore up to 100% of the defense of the enemy, depending on how high is HP to the enemy compared to yours. So that's why you don't really want a Beatrice to be super fast. You want her to be actually kinda 190, 185 speed so that she can survive and then be fast enough to take a turn after the enemy has you at like 10% HP and then boom, one shot with the ultimate. And the passive skill, it would grant you extra skill damage up to 8 stacks, right? Whenever you get a debuff, whenever you resist something, whenever you are immune to something, right? Whenever these things happens, right, the enemy is trying to do something on you and you resist it or you're immune to it or you actually take the debuff, then it would increase the damage. Is it for you or for your allies? So you can get stacks for every single ally that is affected by a debuff. So let's go ahead and test these out. And let's go ahead and change here my team. Sasha is there just waiting to be used. And we're going full damage. Same team I did with Sion. We are going Libertas. We are going what is this called? Machina and Diana. Just to have the crazy amount of increase of attack, right? So let's go ahead and use this. I'm going to advance the turn. I'm going to be getting a turn before the enemy, which I didn't actually want it to do. And so let's go ahead and showcase skill 1. As you can see, I already have an attack buff. So what this is going to do is that it's going to replace that attack buff. And now I still have the attack buff and I still will have it for the next turn whenever I use the skill. So here, all I have to do is just use a basic attack. I want the enemy to actually attack me, right? So that I take some damage and I can then do some extra damage because of that. So I do have enough points, so I'm going to be using some extra skill damage here. And let's go ahead and use our ultimate skill and see if I can one-shot this guy. Ooh, very laggy there. That's 30,000 damage. Close to what a Sasha can do without that many investments. So even, even consider that this is having the buff from Machina that increases your damage even more, right? Even having that, and Sasha didn't have that, right? And still it doesn't do as much damage as your Sasha, right? But still, you can two-shot this boss. Damage is actually pretty good. Again, this is an insane character for defense on PvP, and it's actually really good if you get her and you are able to get the weapons that I mentioned before, either her weapon or the Ivy weapon, and also get some dupes for her passive and ultimate. You would be set for a really, really good defense. And yeah, guys, I would say that's everything that I wanted to showcase today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you are enjoying the guys. Please let me know in the comments if you want any different character next. Keep in mind that all of these guys have been pre-recorded, so once I'm done with all of the guys that I'm uploading right now, you will see the ones that you are requesting in the comments, because I would have some time to go ahead and build whatever character you want me to. In any case, see you in the next one, guys, and